All right, welcome back. And today we are going to be making this into an actual game. So we're going to be working on the displays. So keeping track of the player's score, making sure that you can restart the game, and things like that. So the way that we're going to be doing this is we're going to be creating a lot of variables and a lot of new methods. So when we're going to come in here, we're going to look at the score, which we're going to do another private int, and this time it's going to be player one and player two scores. And we're just going to call them player one and player two. By default, they're 0. We can add those into the constructor as well, just for fun. So make it easier like that. Player one, player two equals 0. Good news. That's what we're going to be doing. Now, every single time, we're going to do a recalculate score because since we're flipping pieces all over the place, it's really hard to keep track of the scores and which ones we're flipping and which ones we don't, so we don't double flip anything. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to add a method called calculate score. So we're going to come after is valid and public boolean, and we'll do calc score. And we really don't want to be a boolean. We're going to make it. We're not going to return anything, so we're just going to say void for a second there. And we are going to make player one score is equal to 0 and player two score is equal to 0. And then we're going to go through the entire board and count. That's basically what we're doing. So we're just going to be counting. So we do need our two for loops for our 2D array. So we're going to put those in, bada bing, bada boom. And then if board ij is equal to 1, then player 1 score goes up by 1. If board ij again is equal to 2, then player 2 is added there. So this way we can calculate the score each and every single time. Now before we add our displays, which we need to start working on, we're going to be doing, we'll just print them out for now. So we'll say player 1 and then we will do player 2. Now what we're going to do next here is we're going to be taking a look here to make sure everything works out, but we never actually added in how we actually calculate it. So right here on repaint here, which we'll do calc score, run this again, and now when we play the game, it calculated the score 3 and 2. So now when we come here and we play it, we can take a look. Bam, 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 bam. So as we play this particular thing, it's adding up how many pieces. And when we take some over, it does subtract pieces as we go forward here. So that is how we're going to play this game. Great. So I definitely want you guys to see that. Now the next type of piece of the puzzle that we need is displaying what these values are. And our lines here don't look as neat as they should be. So let's go ahead and fix those up. So let's come over here to our paint component and take a look at why they're like that. So here are the lines. We go from 0 to 9, or 0 to 10. Let's go ahead and subtract. Actually, not subtract. Those are fine. We're going to go to 500 instead of 550 and see how that looks. Great. That kind of fixes up what we were looking at before. Now, we're going to put our scores right here. So we need to use g.drawString, and I'll do player 1 colon, and then I made sure I put a space there, and then I use our joiner plus, and then I do player 1. Now we just have to put our X and Y coordinate in there and it will look out great. So in this particular example, it should be around 525 maybe. Um, and I'm going to just lower it a little bit where it's going to be at 50. Now, text is generally about 20 to 30 pixels large, and that will give it enough spacing. So here we're doing text. There it goes, and draws out fine that way. Great. Now, I have noticed that on my computer that whenever I put text in, it kind of slows down things. I don't really know why, but we'll figure that out later. So that's player one. It doesn't have any score right now, and that's mainly because we haven't placed anything, and by default it's 0. The default really should be 2 because that's the starting configuration of the board. So let's change that up. So let's add in player number 2. All right, we do player number 2. And now we can run this, and I did not change that when I copied and pasted. I did not change that, so let's get rid of that. So that now we have player 1, player 2 score. That's great. Now that we have it doing that, we also want to make sure that the game has an ending point. So the ending point would be when the 2 players' scores add up to be equal to 100, the game is over because there's no other places to put things. So we're going to do g.drawString, or I'm sorry, not drawString. We have to use an if statement first. Go away. There it goes. If player 1 plus player 2 is equal to 100, then that means the game's over. So we're going to then check to see who has more points. So if player 1 has more points than player 2, player 1 wins. So we say that. And I'm doing a print. We actually want a drawstring here. Player 1 wins. Yay! And then I'll move this down a little bit more. These can all be at 100. If player 1 does not win, then we check to see if player 2's score is bigger than player 1's. And if that's true, player 2 wins. Yay! And if player 1 doesn't win and player 2 doesn't win, then we just say that it's a tied game and we all go home happy. Great. So that's the way that you'll program to see who is going to win. But this particular game has a method in there where sometimes you run into kind of a stalemate. One player can't make moves and the other player can. Now there's 2 ways of handling this. We could make it so that the player that doesn't have any moves, their turn gets skipped. Or what we could do is we could say that all the other pieces belong to the other player. If you can't go, then the other player gets all the other pieces left. And that's it. And that makes sense because in this particular game, the other player can't really open up more moves for the other player. They're just closing them off. So we are going to need to make another method in here is there any valid moves? So we're going to make a can move. So public boolean can move. And we're going to do we're going to already have the turn variable. So we're going to check every single piece of the puzzle here. So int I equals 0, while I is less than 10, I plus plus. So the same 2 for loops we've been writing forever comes again. If valid move ij return true. So we only have to find one valid move for it to work out. Return false. And did I misspell that? Oh, is valid, I'm sorry. So if it can move. All right. So if it can move, then we have this is valid piece here. We're using all this code up here to check to see if it is a valid move on here. And that's great. Now, couple things that we do want to be sure of. This right here says make sure it's empty. So yeah, we're good to go there. We do need to implement can move, and we will do it on the mouse pressed here. After we do their turn, then we do can move. But if we can't move, so we're going to put a not in front of that, or an exclamation mark, and that exclamation mark can move. So if it can't move, if it not can't move, not can move. That's a hard thing to say. Not can move. Then what you're going to do is you are going to reset everything to all the other moves to the other players or the players whose just turn went. So the way that we do this is we come over here and go through the entire board again. And I'm just going to steal these two for loops because we use them way too much. And we will then take this piece of the puzzle and we will actually use turn plus 1 again. This way it goes back to whoever it was previously's turn. And that should flip all the boards if there's no possible moves. Let's test this out. So you might notice this is starting to load up a little bit slower. I don't know what is it, but it's this text. So we're going to try boxing out one of these pieces. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to purposely lose with green. I think I go here. That will turn it. Go there. Go here. Great. And then I'll go here. And then bam. There. Bam. And then it cleared up. That's great. So we tested it out with red. Let's test it out with green. Where green kind of fills in everything. So again, bad moves for red. If you're thinking about working on a strategy based off of this, probably a good idea. And again, here we go. I didn't even check to see if it said who won. I need to check that out when we do this. And put out there, here, here, there. And player 2 wins. Great. I'm not going to try testing out a tie, but right now this is working really well. So what would happen if we want to reset the board? And once we reset the board, we're going to be 100% done with this particular program. So when we win, and we have a winner here, we want to ask, do you want to reset? So we're going to do two things. Draw string, and then we're going to have a reset question mark. And I'm going to put that at 525 again, but this time I'm going to put it at 125. I'm sorry, 125. There it goes. And I'm going to draw a couple things. We're going to say yes, which is at 150, and no. Yes, and no. And when we're going to come in here, we're going to throw that at 175. So when we beat it, it's going to ask you if you want to reset or yes or no. Now, none of our pieces are going to be valid because our entire board is going to be filled up. So I'm not going to really worry about that. But if, if player 1 plus player 2 is equal to 100, so that means if it's a game over, I can click if x e dot get x is greater than 525 and e dot get y is greater than, it's greater than, lots of greater than. Come on, code, you can do it. There you go. And that's between 150 and e dot get y is less than 175. Then we're going to call reset. Now we haven't made reset yet, and we'll do that in just a moment. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we are going to then shift these numbers down, because this would be a no. And we are going to do system.exit 0. So that would be a positive exit, and it would just close out the program. Now this reset button is something that we haven't made yet, and it's a really easy thing to make. So you're going to come over here to public void reset. That will get rid of the error. So if I hit save here, the error should be gone down here. Doesn't do anything, but it gets rid of the error. And I'm going to come up here to the constructor, and I'm going to take everything here except for add mouse listener and cut it out and then add it into reset. Great. Now I'm going to come back up here to the constructor and type in reset. And if I hit run here, it should work exactly the same way, but now I have a button to reset it anytime I want. I don't have to reload it. So if I played this game, and I will do a quick game where one side wins, and there we go. And here we go on this side. Great. I have a reset yes or no. Now I have the button from here all the way over. So if I click on yes to reset, it doesn't look like it wants to reset. Okay, so it looks like my buttons are a little bit off. So let's go ahead and fix those up a little bit. So it looked like if I clicked on no, it worked. So let's put this out. We could move everything down a little bit. That would work. Let's say I will say that 175 and make that at 200. So I'm just changing where the display is at and make that 150 maybe. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so far so good. All right. And reset. Yes, that looks great. So now what we're going to be looking at is let's take a look at how this interacts with see how this interacts with no. So if I click on no, what happens? If it closes out the program, we are successful. We don't have to do anything else, and this video is way too long. So let's try this out. We click no, and it works. Perfect. So this is your last part. I know this ended up going really long. But hopefully this helps you out, and our program is 100% complete with the exception of a computer-based player, and we will do that when I get back on Monday. So I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.